Hey everyone, Calebyte here. Enter the Gungeon recently received its final major content update, A Farewell to Arms. Hopefully this will spark another wave of newcomers to the game. I've put a good chunk of time into it, and it's one of my very favorite roguelikes. If you don't have it yet, the game is available on basically everything: PC, Mac, Linux, Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch for $15. This video is a collection of random tips of varying degrees of usefulness. Enjoy. Dodge first and roll second. Learn how to wiggle through threats, and only roll when you have to. Bad rolls have caused me lots of needless damage, and have ended a bunch of my runs. Next up is controls, and this section is a bit long, but it's important. On PC, I personally prefer to play with a controller over the keyboard and mouse, and of course if you're on the Switch or console, you don't have a choice. So I recommend making a few tweaks to the layout. Of course, do what feels right for you, but the things that you want quickly in combat are shoot, roll, blank, use item, and switch weapons. You need your map to be on something other than the D-pad, because you can drop passive items, which includes junk and glass stones, by holding the map, selecting them with left or right on the D-pad, and then pressing the top face button. Triangle on PS4, Y on Xbox, and X on the Switch. You don't really need the inventory button, so that's one that you can leave unbound if you're out of space. I personally like having use blank and use item on L3 and R3, and next and previous weapon switching on the bumpers. And on that note, for some reason next and previous gun don't work the way that it feels like they should in my head. I had to swap them. But this way I can know the order of the guns, and I can actually drop them on the ground to rearrange them and make mid-fight switching that much easier. Under the gameplay settings, make sure that hide empty guns in combat is checked. That way, when things are frantic, you aren't going to switch to an empty gun. Adjust controller aim look until it feels right. This adjusts how much and how quickly moving the analog stick will move the camera's view. I turned it down a little bit from the default so that the camera pulled away from my character less drastically. Also, while you're here, check Beast Mode. It won't change your gameplay settings, won't make it harder, but just do it. Trust me. Alright, on to the gameplay stuff. Flipping tables creates a mini blank effect around it that you can use to avoid immediate damage, even when you're in front of it. It's good in a pinch, and it can be good to erase those annoying bouncy bullets. Rolling into it will defuse an explosive barrel. You can use this to avoid unnecessary damage. Rolling also does a tiny bit of damage. It's definitely not reliable, and I probably shouldn't have even told you, but roll killing baby blobs is my guilty pleasure, so I thought I'd share. When you have taken damage, try to not pick up a whole heart when you are only half damaged, because it'll consume the whole thing. You should double tap single shot weapons. This will start the reload quicker than if you just let it happen normally. And along those lines, lots of guns have a higher rate of fire from tapping the trigger versus holding it down. This also ensures that you start your reload more quickly, just like with the single shot weapons. Guns will also reload when they're stowed, so you can use this to your advantage with long reload and single shot weapons, or just to keep the pressure up during a fight. At the end of a floor, breaking any chests that you can't open is a good idea just to see if you get something out of them. There's a chance you might get a gun. But don't underestimate brown chests, especially when you know they contain an item. How would you know that, you ask? Well, each floor is guaranteed to have two chests. One is a gun, and the other is an item. Any other randomly spawned chests can be either. Generally, it's a good idea to save your keys and shop purchases until towards the end of a floor, or at least until you've found both chests. The more information you have, the better a decision you can make. Now pretty much the remainder of my list are all around secret room walls and one or two best practices. First up, enemy bullets can reveal the cracked walls. Did you get an ammo drop? Give the walls in the room a check first before you pick it up, because remember, secret room walls cannot be uncovered by infinite ammo weapons. And if you didn't find the secret room in the tutorial area, go through it again, see if you can find it. Secret rooms make some architectural sense. If there's a room next door and no space for a secret room to be, then there won't be one on that wall. They don't do crazy geometry things. In a chest room, there are at most 3 options for a secret room wall to be. Just shoot the center of each wall once or twice to quickly check. And you should always do this since chest rooms have a higher likelihood of having a secret room in them. Since armor creates a blank effect when it's broken, It also breaks secret walls, so if you take armor damage in a room, just double check, make sure nothing opened, but don't worry about shooting any of the walls. You can also pay attention for the sound cue that happens when a secret room has been revealed. You can shoot once per floor without angering the shopkeeper. Other vendors don't care about shooting, so feel free to check for walls all you want. Don't leave a floor with extra blanks. Each floor you get 2 blanks by default, with some items granting more. Priority rooms to check for secret rooms are elevator chambers, shops, dead-end rooms if there's space for it, and chest rooms. Just warp somewhere, pop a blank, and check another room. The only caveat is if you have more blanks than will be refilled on the next floor. Get in the habit of shooting a chest once when you enter the room, just to be safe. And lastly, always pet the dog when they find something for you, so they know they're loved. It's a good dog. Once you've been playing the game for a while and you want some handy resources to remember what everything does, these are the 2 sites that I use most often: Gungeon God and the Synergies page of the wiki. Links to those are in the description. So that's my list of tips and mildly interesting other things. A friend of mine started playing recently, so that inspired this video. Although that friend also pronounces it Enter the Gungeon instead of Gungeon, like dungeon. So he might be a lost cause. Hopefully one of you out there found this interesting. If you haven't played ETG in a long time, you should come back. A lot of stuff has changed and the game feels amazing. Take care, Calebyte out.